Welcome to Void Realities, a place where the noise fades and the universe whispers you to sleep, a universe that refuses to rest. You drift into the thought of a universe that never stops breathing outward. Galaxies slip away, like lanterns carried by an invisible tide. You are part of that tide, your atoms moving gently with it. It is not a rush, but an endless sigh. You close your eyes and imagine the universe as a great, endless ocean. It is not a choppy sea, not one of crashing waves or roaring winds. It is a still, deep expanse, so calm you can hear your own breath inside it. Yet even in its stillness, something moves. The water is expanding, stretching outward in all directions, like a slow exhale that began long before you were born and will continue long after you are gone. You float in this ocean without needing to swim. Your body, your thoughts, the molecules that make up your skin and bones, all are being carried outward by this invisible tide. It does not pull sharply. It does not yank you away. Instead, it is patient. It carries everything at once, galaxies and dust and forgotten comets, each moving with a calm inevitability. The stars you see above you tonight are not where they were yesterday, not in a way your eyes could notice, not in a way you could track without tools. But they are drifting, slowly, relentlessly. Imagine lanterns set afloat on a vast black river, their golden light fading as the current carries them away. The river is the fabric of space itself, and the lanterns are galaxies, entire cities of stars, sailing toward horizons that can never be reached. The idea is simple to say, but difficult to feel. The universe is not just filled with galaxies, the space between them is growing. It is as if every grain of sand on an infinite beach is slowly stepping away from every other grain. And because you are one of those grains, you move too. You may think of yourself as still, in bed, in your room, on a quiet night, but the truth is you are traveling. Not by choice, not by force, but by belonging to this cosmic flow. This motion began with the Big Bang, a moment we often imagine as an explosion. But it is not quite that. It is more like the sudden rising of bread dough, the quiet swelling of space from within itself. In that first moment, the seeds of expansion were sown. At first, gravity tried to slow it down. Galaxies pulled on each other like dancers reluctant to part. For billions of years, the tug-of-war continued. Yet something changed. In the distant past, the expansion began to speed up, as if a hidden wind had risen in the dark. Scientists do not yet fully understand this wind. They call it dark energy, a name that says more about its mystery than its nature. But in this moment, lying here, you do not need to solve the puzzle. You only need to feel it. That gentle, unstoppable outward breath that carries all things along. Think of your own breathing. Inhale, space folds around you, pulling in the air. Exhale, the air moves outward, invisible but real. Now imagine the universe itself, inhaling once, a long time ago, and now, for billions of years, exhaling without end. The galaxies are the breath, and we are part of that breath, each of us moving further from the rest in a dance that no one leads and no one can stop. This motion is so steady, so vast, that in your lifetime you will not see its grandest effects. You will not notice a galaxy slipping away, nor feel the space between you and the next star stretch by even a fraction of a hair's breadth. But over millions, billions of years, the pattern becomes clear. The spaces grow wider, the night sky becomes emptier, and yet, in this growing emptiness, there is a strange comfort. For the expansion is not chaotic. It is measured, balanced, like a tide that knows where it is going even if you do not. If you imagine the universe as a vast living being, then expansion is its heartbeat, slow and deep. Each pulse of space is a sign that the cosmos is alive, not frozen, not finished. Even as stars burn out, even as galaxies drift apart, the whole keeps moving. Your mind might wonder, if the universe keeps expanding, where is it expanding to? The answer is as elusive as the dark energy itself. There is no edge, no outside into which space spills. Instead, it is space itself that grows, carrying all its contents along. There is no shore to reach, no finish line waiting in the dark. Just the endless unfolding of the fabric that holds everything together. As you think of this, you might picture yourself standing on a quiet shore, watching the tide go out forever. The water does not rush. It slips away gently, grain by grain. And with every moment, the horizon grows further away, yet it never looks any different. That is the way of the universe, constant motion that hides in plain sight. Even now, the nearest galaxies are drifting away from us. The Andromeda Galaxy, our closest large neighbor, is an exception. It is actually moving toward us, pulled by gravity's ancient tether. But most others are carried away, their lights stretching as they go, their shapes fading into the black. One day, far in the future, even the faintest smudges of distant galaxies will vanish from view entirely. The night sky will belong only to the stars, born in our own cosmic neighborhood. And yet, as you lie here tonight, the sky feels infinite. You are small, but you are not apart from it. You are a passenger on this journey, as much a part of the expansion as the galaxies themselves. The same physics that pushes them apart holds your atoms together. The same rules that govern the largest scales also shape the smallest. It is strange and beautiful to think that your body, this temporary arrangement of stardust, moves with the same quiet force that carries galaxies across space. You do not need to steer. You do not need to understand every equation. You only need to trust the tide. The ocean of the cosmos will continue its breath, carrying you and all things with it. And as you float in that thought, you begin to sense something else, something unseen, guiding the pace of this expansion, shaping the fate of the universe itself. A force with no name, but the one we gave it. A presence in the darkness that no telescope can quite catch. And that is where the next part of our journey begins. The invisible hand in the darkness. There is something unseen, pressing against the edges of everything. You cannot touch it, yet you feel its patient pull. Scientists call it dark energy, but the name hides more than it tells. It moves in silence, shaping the fate of all things. You are still adrift in the cosmic tide, the gentle swell of space, carrying you further into the dark. The stars are scattered lanterns, drifting silently apart. Yet their movement is not their own. Something unseen is at work, something that neither your eyes nor your hands can touch. It is everywhere, and yet nowhere you can point to. You can imagine it as a hand resting against the fabric of space, not a hand of flesh or bone, but a quiet pressure, pushing outward from every point at once. This pressure is not like the wind that fills a sail, nor the shove of a wave against a boat. It is subtle, woven into the very nature of space itself. Wherever space exists, so does this invisible force. Scientists call it dark energy. The name is not poetic, nor is it a full description. It is simply the label we give to what we cannot yet understand. We know it is there because of the way the universe behaves. We see galaxies drifting apart faster and faster, as though the very emptiness between them is swelling like warm dough. And when every other explanation fails, we are left with this. There is something in the darkness that urges space to grow. You might picture it like a hidden current beneath a still ocean. On the surface, the water looks calm, unchanging. But far below, an unseen stream moves with quiet determination, pulling everything along. Dark energy is that stream. It is the hidden rhythm that no one feels directly, yet nothing escapes. This force is not new. It has been with the universe from the very beginning, present in the first moments after the Big Bang. But for billions of years, its voice was drowned out by gravity's louder call. Galaxies pulled on each other, slowing the expansion, clumping together in great clusters. For a long time, the universe's growth was decelerating. It seemed as though, one day, the pull of gravity might bring everything back together in a great collapse. But that is not the path the universe has chosen. Somewhere about 5 billion years ago, the balance shifted. The expansion, instead of slowing, began to speed up. Imagine riding a bicycle up a long hill, feeling the strain of every pedal, and then without warning, the slope tilts, and you find yourself coasting downhill without effort. Dark energy is the hidden slope, the subtle shift that changed the universe's pace. What is it truly? That is the question that keeps physicists awake at night, staring at the equations as if the symbols might whisper the answer. Some think it is a property of space itself, that empty space is not truly empty, but filled with a faint, constant energy that pushes outward. Others think it may be a new kind of field, something we have never measured, whose effects only reveal themselves on the grandest scales. And there are those who wonder if our very understanding of gravity needs to be rewritten, that perhaps what we call dark energy is just the way the universe tells us we've missed a deeper truth. Yet for you, here in the quiet of night, it does not need to be solved. It only needs to be felt, as the gentle persistence that keeps the stars slipping apart, the soft but unyielding hand on the back of every galaxy. It is not a violent force. It is not loud. If gravity is the embrace that holds things together, dark energy is the breath that slowly parts them. Imagine holding a balloon in your hands, its skin cool and smooth. You blow gently into it, and with each breath, it grows. No matter how evenly you expand it, every point on the surface moves away from every other point. In the same way, the universe expands, and every galaxy feels the motion, not as if they are moving through space, but as if space itself is stretching beneath them. Dark energy is the breath filling the cosmic balloon. This stretching has strange consequences. Light from distant galaxies must travel across ever-expanding space to reach you. Like a runner on a moving walkway, going the opposite direction, the light is slowed, stretched, shifted toward the red end of the spectrum. By the time it arrives, it is softer, older, a ghost of its original self. You do not see the galaxies as they are, but as they were long ago, their light having crossed oceans of swelling space shaped by the invisible hand. And still, the hand does not rest. It keeps pressing outward, not tiring, not fading. It does not care for the smallness of planets or the briefness of human lives. It acts on the largest possible canvas, one so vast you cannot see its edges because there are none to see. Some nights, astronomers point their telescopes at the farthest corners of the sky, searching for the faintest smudges of light. They measure how that light is stretched, they plot it against time, and again the numbers tell the same story. The universe is not just expanding, it is accelerating, and at the heart of that acceleration lies this quiet, unstoppable force. It is strange to think of the universe as having both an embrace and a push. Gravity gathers, dark energy separates. Between them, the universe finds its rhythm, like a slow dance that spans billions of years. Neither can truly win, or perhaps one will, in a future we can only imagine. You let the thought settle, that right now, even as you breathe, this invisible hand is at work, stretching the very space you occupy. You are a part of its canvas. Your atoms drift along with the galaxies, carried without resistance. You do not feel the pull, yet it defines the path you are on. Somewhere ahead in this journey, the consequences of this force will shape the universe's fate. Will it keep pushing forever, scattering galaxies until they vanish beyond sight? Will it change again, as it did billions of years ago, leading to some future we cannot predict? For now, all you can do is drift with it, feeling its steady presence in the silence. And as you do, you begin to notice something else: the way this invisible hand moves the galaxies themselves, turning them into floating islands in an endless ocean. Galaxies as floating islands. Imagine the night sky as an ocean of black velvet. Galaxies are its slow-sailing ships, each carrying billions of suns. Dark energy stretches the water between them, making each island drift farther away. You stand on one shore, watching them fade beyond sight. The night sky above you feels endless, yet quiet. It is not empty, it is filled with light, scattered like the soft glimmer of distant lanterns on a dark sea. Each lantern is not just a star, but a gathering of billions of stars bound together by gravity's invisible arms. These gatherings are galaxies, and each one is an island in the vast ocean of the universe. You may think of them as ships moving slowly across the still waters of space. Their sails are not made of cloth, but of stars and gas and clouds of dust. Their crews are worlds, planets spinning quietly in their orbits, moons circling them in turn, each holding its own silent stories. From afar, the ship looks still, but on deck, life moves, suns burn, and time flows. You stand on the shore of one such island, the Milky Way. Its edge is not a sandy beach, but a haze of faint, scattered stars, growing thinner until they fade into black. From your place within it, you cannot see the whole shape. You cannot see the grand spiral of its arms winding outward like a slow, cosmic whirlpool. But you can sense that it is your home, and has been for all your life, for all of human history, for as long as the Earth has turned. Now imagine looking out over the ocean of the cosmos. Other islands dot the horizon. The Andromeda Galaxy, the small and large Magellanic Clouds, faint smudges that the eye can just barely catch. They are not close, in the way a neighboring island on Earth would be close. They are separated by vast gulfs of space so wide that even light, traveling faster than anything else, needs millions of years to cross them. The space between these islands is not still. Dark energy, the invisible hand you have already felt, is stretching the waters between them. The current is outward, steady, and unstoppable. Every island drifts away from the others, not because they choose to sail apart, but because the ocean itself is swelling beneath them. You can picture the universe as a map of islands scattered on a boundless sea. Over time, that map changes. The distances grow, the spaces between inked points widen. If you could watch it in fast motion, over billions of years, you would see the islands separating until they are only faint specks on one another's horizons. Some islands are clustered together, bound by gravity into archipelagos, galaxy clusters where hundreds or even thousands of galaxies share a neighborhood. These clusters are the rare places where gravity's grip is strong enough to resist the outward pull of dark energy. Within them, galaxies still move, swirling around a common center, colliding and merging in slow, beautiful dances. But even these clusters are not safe from the expansion. They drift away from other clusters, their bonds holding locally but breaking on the larger scale. Our Milky Way is part of a small archipelago called the Local Group. It includes the Andromeda Galaxy and several dozen smaller galaxies, each a little island of its own. Someday, far in the future, Andromeda and the Milky Way will meet, their stars weaving together into a single, larger galaxy. It will be a slow collision, taking millions of years, and yet, on the cosmic map, this merging island will still be carried away from all others. In your mind, you step aboard one of these drifting ships. The deck is starlight. The masts are great arcs of gas and dust. You walk past suns as if they were lanterns hung along the rail, their light warm against your face. Far above, you can see the thin veil of the galaxy's edge, and beyond it, the black waters where other islands sail. The distance between these islands is not measured in miles or kilometers. The numbers would be too large to feel real. Instead, we speak in light years, the distance light travels in 1 year. The nearest large galaxy to ours, Andromeda, is about 2.5 million light-years away. That means when you see its faint glow, you are seeing light that began its journey when early humans had not yet walked the Earth. Every other galaxy is the same, not a view of the present, but a window into the past. The ocean is deep, and the islands are far apart, but they all share the same fate. Dark energy will keep stretching the sea, making the islands smaller in one another's sight. In billions of years, the view from our own shore may change. Galaxies that are now visible will have faded beyond the horizon of light, their signals lost to the swelling of space. And yet, the image is not lonely. Each galaxy is alive in its own way. Stars are born in clouds of dust, burn for millions or billions of years, and die in brilliant explosions. Planets form and spin, ice melts and freezes, atmospheres swirl. Even if no one is watching, the island lives its quiet life. Your own island is a busy one. Here, the sun rises and sets, the moon pulls the tides, the seasons change. Our galaxy's stars wheel slowly across the sky, each part of a pattern far too vast to finish in a human lifetime. And while we move, we drift, carried with the local group through the expanding ocean. From a great distance, the pattern is simple. Galaxies, like islands, move apart because the sea itself is growing. From up close, the details are endless. The color of each star, the shape of each spiral arm, the faint streams of stars that show where galaxies have met before. You stand again on your shore, looking outward. You know now that these islands are not stationary, that the sea between them will never shrink. But you also know that they are connected by their shared origin, by the same physics that governs them all, by the quiet, invisible current that carries them forward. And as you gaze into the black velvet sea, you realize something else. These drifting islands tell a story, written not just in their light, but in the numbers we measure, in the faintest shifts of that light over time. The story is hidden in the mathematics of the cosmos, in equations that whisper to those who listen closely. And those whispers will lead you to the next chapter of this journey. The whisper in the equations. Astronomers measure the sky like poets counting heartbeats. Numbers speak in whispers, telling of a force they cannot see. Every calculation is a clue, every clue a piece of a cosmic puzzle. You rest in the rhythm of those hidden numbers. The ocean of the universe is wide and dark, and its islands drift apart, in quiet dignity. To the eye, this motion is invisible, too slow to notice in a single lifetime. But there are those who have learned to listen, not with ears, but with instruments and numbers. They listen to the light itself, to the way it bends, stretches, and fades. They listen to the universe's expansion, the way one might listen to the faint ticking of a clock in another room. Astronomers are not unlike poets in this way. They measure, not because they expect the numbers to speak loudly, but because they know meaning can live in the smallest details. A shift in the color of a star's light, a fraction of a second's difference in timing, a faint smudge just at the edge of vision. These are the syllables in the universe's whispered language. The first hints of this whisper came more than a century ago. Edwin Hubble, standing on the mountaintops with his telescope, noticed that distant galaxies were not just far away. They were moving away from us. Their light was red-shifted, meaning the waves of light were stretched toward the red end of the spectrum as they traveled through space. This stretching was not because of dust or wind or anything between us and them. It was because space itself was stretching. To measure this effect, astronomers began comparing the light from galaxies to the light from elements here on Earth. Each element, hydrogen, helium, oxygen, leaves a distinct signature, like a barcode. When those barcodes are shifted toward red, it means the source is moving away. The greater the shift, the faster the motion. And the faster the motion, the farther the galaxy. From these measurements, the whisper grew louder. It said, "The universe is expanding." It said, "The farther away a galaxy is, the faster it moves from us." It said, "There is no center from which everything flies. Space itself grows everywhere at once." The beauty of this whisper is in its rhythm. The numbers line up, almost like music, forming a relationship between distance and speed, known as Hubble's law. This is not the music of instruments you can play, but the slow music of the cosmos, each note measured in millions of light years. It is a song that began billions of years ago and still plays even now beneath the hum of your own life. But decades later, something unexpected joined the melody. In the late 1990s, two teams of astronomers were studying type ER supernovae, exploding stars so bright they can outshine entire galaxies. These supernovae are standard candles, meaning their brightness can be predicted, allowing astronomers to use them as distance markers. When they compared the brightness to the galaxy's redshifts, they expected to find that the expansion of the universe was slowing down under the pull of gravity. Instead, the numbers told a different story. The supernovae were dimmer than expected, farther away than they should have been if the expansion was slowing. It was as if the universe had not only refused to slow down, but had begun to accelerate. This was the first clear sign of the invisible hand we now call dark energy. The equations changed. Physicists dusted off an old term, the cosmological constant, first introduced by Einstein, then discarded when it seemed unnecessary. Now it returned, this time not as a mathematical convenience, but as a description of something real, a constant energy density filling space, pushing it to grow faster and faster. When you imagine these equations, don't think of cold chalk on a board. Think of them as delicate strands of a spider's web, stretching across the void. Each number is a bead of dew on the web, catching the light, telling a small part of the whole pattern. Some strands connect to the physics of light, others to the pull of gravity, others still to the mystery of dark energy. Together, they form a map of something we cannot see directly but can trace through its effects. And the whisper is still not fully understood. Even now, astronomers argue over the exact value of the expansion rate, the Hubble constant. Measurements from nearby galaxies and the cosmic microwave background, the faint afterglow of the Big Bang, don't quite agree. It is as if two instruments are playing the same song in slightly different keys. This tension, this discord, could be a clue to something deeper. Perhaps new physics waiting to be uncovered. But for you, here, under the slow-turning sky, the whisper is enough. It tells you that the universe is not static. It reminds you that change is woven into the very fabric of existence. The distances between galaxies are not fixed lines on a page. They are elastic threads, stretching quietly in all directions. You may wonder how such distant, abstract measurements connect to your own life. The answer is subtle but certain. The same laws that govern the motion of galaxies govern the atoms in your body. The same constants in the equations shape the way your cells form, the way light enters your eyes, the way time moves forward. You are written into the mathematics of the cosmos, a living variable in its ongoing calculation. And so, the whisper continues. It moves from redshift measurements to galaxy surveys, from cosmic background radiation maps to deep field images that stare into space for weeks to catch the faintest light. Every method adds a layer, a harmony, a counterpoint. Together, they tell the story of a universe that grows not just larger, but faster, as if pulled forward by a force we barely understand. As you listen to the rhythm of these numbers, you begin to feel their weight, not as something heavy, but as something grounding. They are the quiet proof that the universe is both vast and knowable, both mysterious and measurable. And yet, even as they reassure, they lead you toward deeper questions. For if the universe is accelerating, if the invisible hand is always pushing, what does that mean for the shape of time itself? What does it mean for the way we experience each moment, here on our tiny island of stars? You feel the thought forming, lingering like the last note of a song before it fades. Space stretches, time bends, and both are part of the same fabric. Which means the next step in your journey is to feel how expansion touches not just distance, but time itself, a universe accelerating in its sleep. The universe is not just growing, it is hurrying. Like a dream that deepens, its pace increases with time. Even in stillness, this acceleration is happening all around you. It is the soft urgency beneath the stars. The night is quiet. Your body is still. The stars above look fixed, as though painted on the inside of a great, unmoving dome. But somewhere, beyond what your senses can detect, the universe is changing its pace. It is not just expanding, it is accelerating, as if it has grown restless in its sleep. Acceleration is not always loud or sudden. Think of a river in deep winter, its surface frozen into stillness. Beneath the ice, water still flows, sometimes faster than you would expect. You cannot see its speed with your eyes, but if you dropped a leaf into an open patch, it would vanish more quickly than your intuition would allow. The universe's acceleration is like that, hidden beneath the calm surface of the night sky. Long ago, gravity was winning. Its pull was slowing the outward motion of galaxies, trying to draw them back together. For billions of years after the Big Bang, it seemed possible that the expansion might stop, that perhaps one day everything would reverse, falling back into itself in a cosmic collapse. But dark energy, that invisible hand in the darkness, was patient. It waited, constant and steady, until gravity's grip weakened enough for it to take the lead. When that moment came, the change was subtle. No great cosmic jolt announced it. Instead, It was as if the universe leaned ever so slightly forward and began to drift faster. Like a dreamer turning in sleep, the motion was smooth, unhurried, but undeniable. Once started, there was no slowing it again. Now galaxies are moving away from each other more quickly with every passing moment. The distances grow not in a straight line, but in a curve that steepens over time. Imagine walking away from someone at a steady pace, and then, without deciding to, your steps begin to lengthen, your stride quickens, the gap between you widening faster and faster. This is the nature of the universe now. Its expansion feeds on itself, each moment laying the ground for a faster moment to follow. You cannot feel it here on your small planet, bound as you are by gravity's embrace. The Earth holds you close. The Sun holds the Earth. The galaxy holds the Sun. These bonds are stronger than the outward pull of dark energy on small scales. But on the grand stage between galaxies, where gravity is weak and distances are vast, acceleration rules. If you could watch the whole of the cosmos in a sped-up film, you would see it change character. Galaxies now near enough to be seen would slip away until they vanished entirely beyond a horizon of light. Clusters would grow lonely, marooned in an ever-thinning ocean of stars. The night sky of the far future will hold fewer and fewer lights, not because they have gone out, but because they have sailed beyond the reach of our sight. It is strange to think of acceleration without an engine, without wheels or wings. Here on Earth, acceleration comes from a push, a foot on a pedal, a gust of wind in a sail, the pull of gravity on a falling stone. But in the universe, acceleration is a property of space itself. It needs no external push because the cause is woven into the fabric of reality. Some scientists describe this acceleration as a runaway effect, as if dark energy were a quiet but unstoppable growth in the structure of space. Others imagine it as a constant background pressure, a faint hum that has always been there and will always be there. Whichever way you picture it, the result is the same. Every distant thing will become more distant, and the pace of that change will continue to increase. And yet, there is no sensation of urgency in the way we think of it in human terms. It is not a sprint, but an endless drift. Acceleration in the cosmos is measured in billions of years, in changes so slow that even civilizations rise and fall without noticing. It is like the growth of a tree, invisible from one heartbeat to the next, undeniable over the course of centuries. For you, here and now, the acceleration is something to be imagined rather than experienced. But your imagination is a powerful vessel. You can close your eyes and picture the galaxies as lights on a dark shore, each one sliding away across black water. The water flows faster as the night deepens, though it makes no sound. You do not feel the current in your feet, but you can see it in the widening gap between lanterns. This change in pace has implications for time itself. The faster space expands, the more it changes the paths that light can take, and the more it alters the way events unfold at vast distances. Time and space are part of the same cloth, and when one stretches, the other bends. Acceleration is not just about motion. It is about reshaping the flow of moments across the universe. There will come a time, unimaginably far ahead, when acceleration will define the universe's character completely. Stars will still burn in their own corners, but the connection between those corners will fade. Every observer will see fewer galaxies with each passing eon until their own becomes the only island left in the visible sea. The rest will still be there, but forever beyond the horizon, carried away by the same acceleration that began so quietly. Yet here, beneath your small sky, this grand drift feels almost like a lullaby. There is comfort in knowing that the universe moves not in fits and starts, but in a steady, graceful motion. It is the soft urgency beneath the stars, the quiet change that shapes the future without disturbing the present. You can rest in the knowledge that you are part of this pace, that your life unfolds within its rhythm. And as you lie in that rhythm, you feel a question rising. If acceleration can change the shape of time across galaxies, what does it mean for time where you are? Can expansion and motion alter the way moments pass, the way clocks tick, the way you yourself age? The answer waits, just beyond the next horizon in your journey. Time's gentle distortion. Expansion is not just about space, it changes time's very texture. A second in one galaxy is not the same as a second in another. You feel time stretch like warm taffy between your thoughts. The moment you're in is already farther than you think. Time feels steady to you. 1 second follows another, with the same gentle spacing. Clocks tick, hearts beat, breaths come and go in an even rhythm. But beneath this familiar flow lies a truth that is both stranger and more beautiful. Time is not absolute. It bends, it stretches, it folds. And the expansion of the universe plays its own quiet role in this shaping. You might think of time as a river, carrying you from one moment to the next. On most days, it feels as if the current is smooth and constant. But the river's speed can change depending on where you are and how you move. It can rush or slow, swirl in eddies, or spread wide and shallow. And just as the river's flow is altered by rocks and banks, time's flow is altered by space itself. Einstein showed us that space and time are not separate things. They are threads in the same fabric, space-time. Stretch the fabric in one place, and you stretch both threads together. In regions where gravity is strong, time runs more slowly. A clock on the surface of a massive planet ticks just a little slower than one floating far away from any stars. This isn't an illusion or a trick of measurement. It is the real, physical behavior of time. The expansion of the universe is another way the fabric stretches. When space grows, light traveling across it is stretched too, its waves lengthened, its color reddened. But it is not just light that is affected, it is the timing of events themselves. Imagine a drumbeat played in a galaxy billions of light years away. As the universe expands, the space between each beat is lengthened by the time it reaches you. What began as a steady rhythm becomes slower, stretched by the same force that pushes galaxies apart. Astronomers see this every time they study the light of distant supernovae. The rise and fall of their brightness unfolds in slow motion compared to similar explosions nearby. It is not because the distant stars burned more lazily, but because their light had to cross a universe that was expanding under its feet. Each moment they lived was pulled gently apart, like warm taffy in the hands of time itself. You might wonder, if expansion can stretch the time of events far away, does it change the time you live here and now? The answer is subtle. Locally, within your galaxy, within your solar system, within your body, gravity's bonds are strong enough to hold space steady. Your seconds are safe from the pull of expansion. But across the great emptiness between galaxies, where dark energy reigns, the stretching is free to act. And so, the further you look, the more you peer into slowed and softened time. Think of the universe as a vast patchwork quilt. Some squares are tightly stitched, galaxies, solar systems, planets. Others are loose and airy, the the dark spaces in between. In the loose patches, the fabric is being tugged outward, and the threads of time are drawn thin. The more the expansion continues, the thinner those threads will grow, and the longer the moments they carry will seem. This gentle distortion means that the past we see is not exactly the past as it was lived. A galaxy 10 billion light-years away appears not only younger, but slower. Its days were the same length to its inhabitants as ours are to us, but to our eyes, watching across the swelling void, those days pass in an elongated hush. The universe shows us the past in slow motion, as if to give us more time to take it in. There is something deeply comforting in this idea, that the light we see from faraway worlds has been cradled and softened by the journey. It arrives not in haste, but as if it has been lulled to sleep by the expansion itself. In this way, the cosmos tells its story slowly, making sure we can follow, making sure we are listening. And yet, this stretching of time has another side. In the deep future, when acceleration has carried galaxies beyond the horizon of visibility, their time will be forever out of reach. Their stories will continue, but we will never hear their latest chapters. It is a reminder that time is not just personal. It is also a shared thread, and expansion can gently unweave that connection. You may close your eyes and picture yourself floating in this fabric of space-time. You are part of it, a knot in the weave, holding together moments and places. Around you, the threads are taut in some directions and looser in others. If you drifted far enough, you might find yourself in a place where the seconds stretch so long you could live a lifetime in one heartbeat, or in another where they rush so quickly that an age could pass in the blink of an eye. And so, the universe is not just a place of distances, but of tempos. Each region has its own rhythm, set by gravity, by motion, by expansion. We are dancers in this cosmic music, moving in step with our local beat while others sway to a different time. Here, on Earth, under the slow spin of the Milky Way, your seconds feel even and sure. But now you know they are part of a much larger choreography, one that links your heartbeat to the redshift of ancient starlight, to the stretching of waves across the dark. You are in the middle of this dance, though you cannot hear all the instruments at once, and as you rest in that thought, you feel the pull of curiosity again. If time itself can bend and stretch across the universe, what happens to the light that carries these moments to us? How does it change, and what does it tell us about where it has been? Those answers lie in the journey of starlight itself. The light that grows, old starlight travels to you like a tired traveler crossing an endless desert. With every mile, its colors fade into deeper reds. Dark energy pulls on this light, stretching it thin and soft. You cradle it like a fragile letter from the past. Light is the oldest messenger you will ever know. It leaves its birthplace, the heart of a star, the fire of a supernova, the glowing clouds of a newborn galaxy, and sets out across the vastness of space. It does not stop. It does not sleep. It carries with it the memory of where it began, hoping to deliver that memory to someone, somewhere, who will receive it. Now picture that journey. Imagine a traveler walking alone through an endless desert. At first, their pace is strong and sure. Their colors are bright, their voice is clear. But the road is long, and the air itself is stretching. With every step, they grow a little slower, a little fainter, as if the journey itself is pulling them apart. This is the life of starlight. In an expanding universe, the space between its waves grows as it travels, pulled outward by dark energy's patient hand. Each crest of light is drawn farther from the next, and its color slides toward the red end of the spectrum. This shift is called redshift, and it is more than just a change in hue. It is a stretching of the light's very energy. If you look at a nearby star, its light is still fresh, its colors as they were when they left the surface. But if you look at a galaxy billions of light years away, you are not seeing it in the colors it once had. You are seeing the afterimage, the softened tones that remain after a journey across swelling space. The blues have deepened, the whites have warmed, the whole scene is tinged with the quiet rust of age. And yet, there is beauty in this aging. The redshift is not a flaw. It is a record of the road. Every change in the light is a note in the story of how far it has come and how much the universe has changed along the way. Astronomers can read that story like a letter, measuring the stretching to learn not only the distance to the source, but also how fast the universe was expanding when the light began its journey. It is strange to think that when you look into the night sky, you are not looking into space as it is, but as it was. The moon shows you light a little over a second old. The sun sends you light that has traveled for about 8 minutes. The nearest star, Proxima Centauri, sends you light that began its trip over 4 years ago. And the most distant galaxies you can see are sending you light that began its journey billions of years before the Earth even formed. In this way, light is a time machine, not one that you step into, but one that steps into you, into your eyes, your mind, your memory. It carries you backward into the deep past, allowing you to witness events that have long since ended, to see stars that no longer burn, to catch the glow of galaxies that may now be entirely different from the way you see them. But light's journey is not easy. Every moment of travel is through space that is not still. It stretches, it grows, it pulls at the light until its once tight waves are drawn long and thin. The greater the distance, the greater the stretching, until some light is shifted so far toward the red that it slips beyond what human eyes can see. It becomes infrared, then microwave, then radio, still traveling, still carrying its story, but in a language your senses cannot hear without help. This is how the oldest light of all reaches us, the cosmic microwave background, the afterglow of the Big Bang itself. It began as brilliant, searing light when the universe was only 380,000 years old, but billions of years of expansion have stretched it into faint microwaves. We do not see it with our eyes, but with delicate instruments that can hear its cold whisper. It is the most ancient letter the universe has ever sent, addressed to every being who might one day learn to read it. When you stand under the night sky, you are surrounded by these travelers. Some are young, some ancient. Some are so dim that your eyes cannot catch them without help, while others blaze so brightly they overwhelm everything else. But all of them, near and far, carry the same truth. Light grows old as it travels, and in that aging, it becomes something more than it was, a bridge between the now and the long ago. You might cradle this thought the way you would hold a fragile envelope from someone you love. The paper is thin, the ink is faded, but the meaning is intact. You turn it over in your hands, knowing that it has crossed miles, oceans, perhaps even lifetimes to reach you. In the same way, starlight rests on your face after its journey, soft but unbroken. And yet, there is a bittersweetness in knowing that the light you see tonight has already been changed forever by the road it took. You will never see these stars as they are in this moment, only as they were. Even the light leaving your own world now will, in some future, arrive somewhere changed, stretched, and softened. perhaps it will fall on the eyes of another being, standing on the shore of another galaxy, wondering about the place it came from. The aging of light is also a reminder that nothing in the universe is untouched by time. Not stars, not galaxies, not even the messages they send. Time works quietly, through expansion, through distance, through the patient pull of the invisible hand. It transforms everything it touches, leaving behind a record not of perfection, but of endurance. And so, you find comfort in this thought, that the light you see tonight is not hurried, not desperate. It has taken its time, crossed the great darkness at a pace set by the universe itself. It arrives exactly when it was meant to, carrying its softened colors, its slowed rhythm, its unbroken message. You close your eyes and imagine holding that light, feeling its weightless age, knowing that it connects you to places you will never stand. And you wonder, if the light itself can be pulled, stretched, and changed by expansion, what of the horizons it travels toward? Can some places in the universe be forever out of reach, no matter how fast light moves? The answer lies ahead, in the edges you cannot cross, edges that can't be reached. No matter how far you go, some horizons will always move away faster. Dark energy creates unreachable shores, sealed in perpetual distance. The universe is both your home and your unreachable frontier. You find peace in knowing that mystery will always remain. There is a certain comfort in walking toward a horizon you will never reach. On Earth, it is an illusion, the curve of the world, the limits of your vision. But in the universe, some horizons are real. No matter how far or fast you travel, they will always slip further away, retreating faster than you can follow. These are not boundaries made of walls or barriers. They are woven into the nature of space itself. You cannot see them directly, but they define the shape of what is possible. They are called cosmic horizons, and they are as much a part of the universe as the stars themselves. Imagine standing on a quiet shore. Across the water you can see distant islands, faint against the sky. You step into a boat and begin to row toward them. But the ocean is not still. It is expanding, just as space does. The further you row, the faster the water between you and the islands grows. At a certain point, no matter how hard you row, the expansion outpaces you. The islands slip away forever, growing smaller until they vanish beyond the haze. In the cosmos, the speed limit is the speed of light. Nothing can move faster through space than light itself. But space itself is not bound by that limit. It can expand faster than light can cross it, and in doing so, it carries galaxies beyond reach. Even if you left today, traveling at the highest possible speed, you could never catch them. This is not because they are moving through space quickly, but because the space between you and them is growing too quickly to cross. It is as if you are standing on a piece of elastic that is stretching faster than you can run. Every step you take is undone by the expansion beneath your feet. There are in fact two kinds of horizons in the universe. One is the particle horizon, the limit of what light has had time to reach us since the Big Bang. It marks the boundary of the observable universe, the largest sphere you can possibly see. Beyond it, light has not had enough time to arrive, and so those regions remain forever hidden from you. The other is the cosmic event horizon, the boundary beyond which events will never affect you, no matter how much time passes. This horizon is shaped by the acceleration of the universe. Galaxies beyond it may still be visible now, because their light set out long ago. But any light they send today will never reach you. It is the edge not just of sight, but of future connection. This means the night sky is a blend of the reachable and the unreachable, the now and the forever lost. Some of the galaxies you see tonight are already beyond the event horizon. You are watching their past, knowing that nothing they do from this moment on will ever touch you again. It is a strange thought, and at first it might feel lonely, but there is a kind of peace in it too. The universe does not owe you its entirety. It gives you a window, a moving circle of light and time, and within that circle you can explore, measure, and wonder. Beyond it lies mystery, and mystery has its own beauty. Even within your own life, there are horizons, memories you cannot revisit, futures you cannot predict, feelings you cannot quite put into words. The cosmic horizon is simply the universe's version of this truth. Some things are meant to remain beyond your reach. Astronomers try to measure these horizons to draw the limits of the map. They find that the observable universe stretches about 46 billion light-years in every direction, even though it has been only 13.8 billion years since the Big Bang. This is because expansion has been at work all along, stretching the distances even as light traveled toward us. But the event horizon is closer than that, a kind of invisible bubble inside the observable sphere. It is the line between someday we could and never again. Each year, more galaxies cross that line, carried away by dark energy's patient current. The universe we can influence grows smaller, even as the universe we can see remains vast. You might ask, if horizons are always there, why keep looking outward at all? The answer is simple, because what is within reach is still astonishing. The stories of stars, the birth of worlds, the faint glow of galaxies, these are all here, inside your circle of possibility. The horizon is not a wall to keep you in. It is a reminder to look more closely at what is already in your hands. And there is another way to see it. The unreachable shores are not gone. They continue, living their own stories beyond your sight. Somewhere, stars are rising, planets are turning, light is spilling across alien skies, and though you will never stand there, you are connected to them by origin. All of it began together, in the same cosmic breath. When you think of it that way, the horizon is not a limit, but a shared silence between you and the rest of the cosmos. You cannot speak across it, but you can still know that beyond it, the universe continues, endless and alive. It is the unseen half of the conversation, and sometimes silence is as meaningful as the words themselves. As you stand here, in thought, on the shore of your own visible universe, you understand something deeper, that the edges you cannot cross are also the edges that make the center precious. And somewhere ahead, in the future of this ever-expanding sea, the pattern of the stars themselves will change, their familiar faces slipping away into the dark. And so the question arises, what will remain when the farthest lights have faded? What kind of universe will we find in the quiet far future, when the night sky has grown nearly empty? That answer lies just beyond this horizon, in the story of the far future's quiet ending. The far future's quiet ending. In billions of years, the expansion may leave galaxies alone in dark seas. Stars will fade, but the universe will not stop breathing outward. It will be a calm end, not a violent one, and even then, it will still be expanding. The night sky, you know, is crowded. Stars spill across it in tangled rivers of light. Planets wander slowly between them, and galaxies are scattered like jewels on dark velvet. It feels eternal, but this sky is only a moment in the universe's long life. Billions of years from now, it will look very different. The universe will keep expanding, pulled gently but firmly by dark energy's constant hand. As it grows, more and more galaxies will drift beyond the cosmic event horizon. Their light, still on its way, will one day fail to reach us. The night sky will slowly lose its distant smudges, its faraway clusters, its deep background of faint glows. Only the galaxies bound to us by gravity will remain, our local group, merging over eons into a single, giant island of stars. The Andromeda Galaxy and the Milky Way will come together in a slow embrace, their stars weaving new patterns. There will be no collision in the way we think of collisions. The spaces between stars are so vast that most will simply pass by one another. But their combined gravity will pull gas and dust into new shapes, sparking fresh bursts of star formation. For a time, the merged galaxy will be bright and active, a last flourish before the long, gradual dimming. Because nothing lasts forever, not even the stars. The youngest, hottest stars will burn themselves out quickly, their lifetimes measured in millions rather than billions of years. The cooler, smaller stars will last far longer, glowing steadily through countless cosmic ages. But even they will eventually exhaust their fuel, leaving behind white dwarfs, stellar embers that fade ever so slowly into the dark. As trillions of years pass, the universe will grow quieter. With no new gas to form fresh stars, the galaxies will enter what astronomers call the degenerate era. The sky will be filled mostly with remnants, cold white dwarfs, neutron stars, and black holes, each holding the memory of a star that once burned. The galaxies themselves will still drift apart, but there will be fewer and fewer lights to mark their positions. Even in this far-off time, the expansion will continue. Black holes will persist for inconceivably long spans, slowly evaporating through Hawking radiation. One by one, they too will vanish, releasing their last whispers of energy into the void. The universe will not end with a bang, but with a long, soft fade into darkness. This future is sometimes called the heat death, not because it is hot, but because it is the state of maximum entropy, where energy is evenly spread and no more work can be done. It is a final stillness, a quiet balance where nothing changes in any meaningful way. The cosmic ocean will still exist, its waters calm, its tides faint, but there will be no ships sailing upon it, no lanterns in the distance. And yet there is a strange beauty in this ending. It is not a violent collapse or a chaotic unraveling. It is a gentle dimming, a universe growing old in peace. The same laws that allow stars to shine also guide them to their rest. The same expansion that carried galaxies together and apart will carry the last traces of light into infinity. If you imagine this future sky, it is not empty at once. The darkness comes slowly, over spans so vast they dwarf the age of our sun. Civilizations, if they rise, will see different versions of the cosmos. Some will look up to a sky thick with stars, others, millions of generations later, will live beneath a sparser pattern, their maps of the heavens missing many familiar shapes. Eventually, there will be no evidence to the unaided eye that other galaxies ever existed at all. In this way, the far future will be more isolated than the present. Astronomers in that time may know only their own galaxy island. Without the faint light of others to measure, without the redshift of distant starlight, the story of cosmic expansion could be harder to uncover. The universe, in growing quieter, will also grow more secretive. But for now, that future is far beyond our reach. We live in a moment rich with light, in a sky still filled with evidence of the past. We can see billions of years behind us, trace the patterns of cosmic history, and imagine what is to come. The knowledge of the ending does not make the present less beautiful, it makes it more precious. Every star you see tonight is part of a fleeting arrangement, a chapter in a story still being told. The galaxies are drifting, the expansion is steady, but for now, the sky still holds its lanterns. The breath of the universe still moves, and we are here to witness it. And when you picture that final, silent horizon, there is no sadness in it, only the awareness that all things, even the cosmos, have their seasons. This season is one of brightness, of connection, of shared light across unimaginable distances. It will not last forever, but while it does, it is a gift. And as you hold that thought, you return to yourself here and now, a small being on a small world, yet carried by the same expansion that will shape the universe's end. You feel your own place in the story, not apart from it, but written into its every page. From here, the journey turns inward again. For even as the universe's fate stretches across the far future, its breath is moving through you right now, in the quiet space between your thoughts, in the rhythm of your heartbeat, in the way you belong to this vast and patient expansion. You, the universe, and the breath between. The same force pushing galaxies apart also moves within you. Your breath, your heartbeat, your quiet thoughts, all happen inside this expanding frame. You are not separate from the cosmos. You are its small, knowing witness, and as you close your eyes, you drift with it into the dark. The story of the universe has carried you across billions of years tonight. You have drifted through its tides, felt the pull of its invisible hand, and stood at the edges you cannot cross. You have watched its light grow old, its horizons recede, and imagined its far future's quiet ending. Now the journey turns toward something closer, toward you, sitting here, breathing in the dark. It may be tempting to think of yourself as a spectator, watching the cosmos from the outside. But there is no outside. You are woven into the same fabric that holds the galaxies, bound by the same laws, shaped by the same forces. Every atom in your body was born in the heart of a star, carried outward by the breath of the universe. You are made of the very things you have been watching drift away into the night. Take a breath. The air moves in through your lungs, fills them, and leaves again. It feels personal, contained within your body, but the rhythm you keep is part of a greater one. The universe itself breathes, not in seconds, but in eons. Its inhale was the Big Bang. Its long exhale is the expansion you now understand. Your breath is a small reflection of that cosmic tide. You are living inside the expansion. Every thought you have, every word you speak, every dream you carry unfolds within space that is growing. The room you sit in, the planet you stand on, the galaxy that holds you, all are part of that slow outward drift. You do not feel it because you are moving with it, the way you do not feel the Earth's rotation beneath your feet, but it is there, steady and unbroken. When you look inward, the connection deepens. Inside, you are patterns, neurons firing in your brain, blood flowing through your veins, molecules exchanging in every cell. These motions, as small as they seem, obey the same principles that guide the largest clusters of galaxies. Gravity, energy, and time shape you, just as they shape the stars. You are not separate from the universe's story. You are a chapter within it. Think of your heartbeat. It is quiet now, unhurried. Each beat is a moment you are here, a marker of your time in the cosmos. In the life of the universe, your heart is a brief spark, but that spark is made of ancient light. cooled and reshaped into the living form you carry. When you were born, you inherited atoms that have traveled across the Milky Way for billions of years before finding their way into you. You are, in a very real way, a meeting place for the far past and the present moment. The more you notice this, the more the boundary between you and everything else begins to blur. You are not a thing apart from the stars you see at night. You are part of the same unfolding, a ripple in the same current. Your thoughts tonight are as much a part of the universe as the light from Andromeda or the quiet push of dark energy. The breath between moments is where you can feel this most clearly. Pause. Listen to the silence between your inhales and exhales. It is not truly empty, it is full of all the distances you have imagined, the spaces between galaxies, the quiet between pulses of light. It is the same silence that exists between the beats of the universe's heart. And yet, in that stillness, there is movement. Space continues to stretch. Time continues to flow. Stars continue to burn. You continue to live, your life unfolding like a small spiral inside the larger spiral of the cosmos. The two are not separate spirals. They are part of the same shape. There is comfort in this connection. The universe is vast, but not indifferent. It has given you form, awareness, and the ability to see it. It has arranged its laws in such a way that starlight can cross billions of years to meet your eyes, that your mind can hold ideas about things far beyond your reach. You are not here by accident. You are here because the universe makes beings like you possible. And as you drift in thought, you realize the expansion is not something to resist or fear. It is simply the way the universe grows. It is the gentle current carrying you forward, just as it carries galaxies and light and time itself. Your life moves within it, shaped by it, carried by it, yet still entirely your own. Close your eyes and imagine yourself floating in the dark ocean of space. There is no need to swim. You are buoyed effortlessly by the tide. The galaxies are lanterns, their lights softened by distance, their motions slow but sure. The breath of the universe moves through you, and you through it. In this state, there are no edges to fear, no distances to conquer. There is only the awareness that you are part of something vast and continuous. You belong to it as much as it belongs to you. Your existence is a moment in the great, unbroken expansion, unique, fleeting, and entirely connected to the whole. And so, as the night deepens and the stars hold their places in the sky, you rest in that knowledge. The same dark energy that pushes galaxies apart holds you gently in the present. The same space that stretches between the stars stretches around you now, quiet and endless. The same breath that moves the universe moves through your lungs. You are the witness and the participant, the listener and the story, the heartbeat and the silence between. And as you drift towards sleep, you feel yourself moving with it all, carried outward with the galaxies, inward with your thoughts, wrapped in the breath between, the science still unfolding. The story of dark energy is not finished. Telescopes and experiments reach further into the unknown. Every answer births new questions, weaving science into an endless journey. You drift with the thought that discovery is as infinite as space itself. The universe may be vast, but human curiosity stretches to match it. The moment we learned it was expanding, we wanted to know why. When we discovered that expansion was accelerating, the questions multiplied. Dark energy became not just a concept, but a mystery at the heart of cosmology, the key to understanding the universe's fate. And so, we built tools to listen more carefully. We placed telescopes on mountaintops and launched others into orbit above the blur of Earth's atmosphere. We turned deserts into observatories, frozen plains into listening posts. Each one is an ear pressed to the cosmos, waiting for its next whisper. New projects are now reaching further than ever before. The James Webb Space Telescope peers into the earliest chapters of cosmic history, catching faint light from galaxies born less than 1 billion years after the Big Bang. Each image is a fragment of the puzzle, helping us see how expansion shaped the first structures in the universe. Other instruments, like the Euclid Space Telescope and the Vera C. Rubin Observatory, are designed to map the universe in unprecedented detail. They will track the shapes and positions of billions of galaxies, measuring the subtle patterns imprinted by dark energy over billions of years. From these maps, we hope to learn whether dark energy has always been constant, or if it changes over time, like a slow tide rising and falling. On Earth, experiments use a different approach. They study the cosmic microwave background, the faint afterglow of the Big Bang, searching for tiny variations that reveal the history of expansion. Others use gravitational lensing, the bending of light by massive objects, to measure how the universe's structure has evolved under the competing forces of gravity and dark energy. And still, the deeper we look, the more questions we find. Is dark energy truly a property of space itself, a constant woven into the fabric of reality? Or is it a field that changes, its influence waxing and waning over time? Could it be a sign that our understanding of gravity is incomplete, that the equations we've trusted need rewriting? Scientists often compare dark energy to a blank page in the book of physics, a page we know exists but have barely begun to fill. It is humbling to realize that even now, after centuries of study, the universe still holds mysteries on its largest scales. And perhaps that is part of its beauty. It invites us to keep asking. You imagine a future scientist standing beneath a night sky years from now, holding data that reshapes our understanding. Maybe they will prove that dark energy is constant. Maybe they will show that it evolves. Maybe they will discover it is something we have not yet imagined. The possibilities are as wide as space itself. For now, we live in the midst of discovery. Each new observation adjusts the picture, like the slow turning of a kaleidoscope. From one angle, the patterns suggest stability. From another, change. In this way, science is not a fixed truth, but a moving frontier, always shifting, always opening. And you, here tonight, are part of that frontier. You are one of the countless minds who wonder, who look up, who care to know. Whether you are a scientist at a telescope or a quiet observer on a balcony, your curiosity keeps the story alive. The sky above is not just a view. It is an invitation. It says, look closer. It says, ask again. It says, there is more here than you can see tonight. And so, the search continues, not to close the book, but to keep reading, knowing that each page leads to another. For in the universe, as in life, there is no final answer, only the next question waiting beyond the horizon. And when you think of that horizon, your mind drifts to a gentler place. Not the cold vastness of the unknown, but the quiet personal act of lying under the stars, feeling the expansion not as a fact to solve, but as a lullaby to fall asleep to. Sleeping under an expanding sky. The night is quiet, the stars patient. You breathe in rhythm with the universe's slow exhale. The science becomes a story. The story becomes a dream. And in that dream, you are part of the infinite. The journey has taken you far. You have sailed between galaxies, stood at horizons that can't be crossed, and gazed into the far future. You have learned about dark energy, about time's stretching, about the aging of light. And now, here you are, not in some distant cluster, but in your own room, beneath your own sky. Outside, the night is deep. The stars are scattered, their light softened by distance and time. You feel their presence more than you see it, a quiet assurance that they are still burning, still sending their messages across the expanding dark. You close your eyes, and the science becomes sensation. You imagine your breath as the inhale and exhale of space itself. The room around you is part of the galaxy part of the universe part of something larger still. There is no separation, only scale. Above you, space is stretching. It does not tear or strain. It moves like a tide, silent and steady. If you could feel it directly, it might be like the slow lift of your chest as you breathe in sleep. You are carried by it without effort, without choice, without end. You picture the galaxies as lanterns drifting outward. Some you will see for the rest of your life. Others are already gone, beyond the horizon of light, their last messages still on the way. You are not chasing them. You are floating with them. Your motion is shared, your path part of theirs. And so, you rest in the knowledge that you are not lost in the universe. You are held by it. Its laws shape your every heartbeat. Its history is written in your atoms. Its expansion carries you through time, as surely as it carries light across the dark. The questions that remain about dark energy, about the future, about the true nature of reality do not need answers tonight. They can wait. Tonight, the unknown is not a challenge. It is a blanket. It wraps around you, soft and weightless, filled with the hum of distant starlight. Your breathing slows. Your thoughts loosen. You feel the small sway of your own body in the bed, as if you were a ship on a sea that will never end. The horizon is far, but you are not in a hurry to reach it. The last thing you notice before drifting off is the stillness. Not the stillness of nothing, but the stillness of motion so constant, so even, that it feels like rest. The universe is still expanding, and you are already moving with it, carried toward tomorrow on the breath between stars. Sleep comes easily now, and in your dreams, the sky is endless. You walk among the galaxies, touching their light as it passes. Each one tells you its story, and you listen, knowing you are part of it. And when you wake, the expansion will still be happening, slow, steady, and infinite, waiting to carry you through another day beneath an ever-widening sky. The story without an end. The universe's expansion has no final page. Your journey through it is part of a larger, unbroken tale. Even as you rest, the cosmos writes new chapters in silence. You are both reader and participant in a story that continues forever. There is a moment after every great journey when you pause, not to begin again, but to feel where you are. You have drifted through the universe's earliest light, touched its invisible forces, and imagined its far future. You have stood at horizons you cannot cross, and rested in the breath between galaxies. And now you sit quietly, knowing that the story is still being written. The universe does not end because you have reached the last chapter of this telling. It continues, patient and unstoppable, adding new lines with every passing second. Some of those lines are written in the births of stars, others in the fading of old light. Some are inscribed in the expansion itself, the widening distances that no hand can close. You, too, are a chapter in this story, not an isolated scene, but one connected to everything, before and after. Your atoms have traveled across billions of years to become you. One day, they will travel on, joining other forms, other patterns, other lives. In this way, you are part of an unbroken chain that links the ancient past to the far future. There is no true ending to this chain. Even in the heat death of the universe, even in the fading of the last light, the story will still exist, not as words or pages, but as the memory of all that has been. Entropy will not erase the fact that it happened, and the fact that you are here now, aware of it, is its own rare miracle. It is humbling to think that most of the cosmos is beyond your touch, that much of it is beyond your sight. But perhaps that is what makes the part you can see so precious. The stars above you tonight are the visible part of an endless ocean. You cannot sail it all, but you can stand at the shore and watch the waves. This is what science has always been, standing at the edge of the known, looking outward and listening for the whispers that come back. Sometimes those whispers are faint, hidden in patterns of light and shadow. Sometimes they arrive as sudden bursts, like the moment we learned the universe is accelerating. But always, they carry the same message. There is more to know. You think of the astronomers who came before, charting the stars by hand, measuring the angles between them, inventing the first ways to map the sky. You think of the great telescopes of today, their mirrors catching light that began its journey before Earth even formed. And you think of the ones yet to come, machines that will see farther, listen longer, and measure more finely than anything we have now. They, too, are chapters. Each discovery will shift the story's shape, revealing twists we never expected. Perhaps dark energy will turn out to be something simple. Perhaps it will open a door to a new kind of physics. Perhaps it will remain a mystery, a reminder that the universe owes us no easy answers. In the quiet of the night, you realize that both possibilities, knowing and not knowing, are gifts. Knowledge deepens your connection to the cosmos, giving you a clearer view of where you stand. Mystery keeps the story alive, inviting you to return, to ask again, to keep listening. You look up and see the sky as both map and mirror. A map because it shows you the path light has taken to reach you. A mirror because it reflects the fact that you, too, are made of this light, this matter, this space. The expansion that carries galaxies apart also carries you forward through time. You are not watching from the outside, you are moving with it. And in that movement, there is no final page to turn. There is only the awareness that the story will go on without you, just as it began before you. This is not a loss. It is a reminder that you are part of something vast enough to continue forever. So you let your thoughts drift, the way light drifts across space. You picture the galaxies still sailing outward, their courses set by forces older than stars. You imagine the light leaving them now, beginning journeys that will last billions of years. Some of it will arrive at worlds not yet formed, to be seen by eyes not yet opened. Perhaps one day, far in the future, another being will stand under another sky and wonder about the same things you do now. They will not know your name, but they will be linked to you by the same story. The same expansion will be carrying them forward. The same laws will be shaping their moments. And so, you close your eyes, not to shut out the sky, but to feel it more completely. The darkness behind your eyelids is the same as the darkness between galaxies. Deep, quiet, endless. Within it, there is space for both thought and rest, both curiosity. You are the reader and the character, the witness and the participant. Your chapter is brief, but it belongs entirely to you. The story will go on, carried in the breath between stars, in the drift of light, in the silent stretching of space. And as you fall into sleep, you do not leave the story. You carry it with you, into dreams where the galaxies sail just above your reach, and the horizon is always moving, always just far enough to keep you wondering.